Welcome to the Fight with Teddy Atlas. I'm Teddy Atlas III. I'm joined by boxing legend, trainer of the champions, Hall of Famer, my father, Teddy Atlas. How you doing today, bud?
I'd rather be a father, parent legend someday, I hope, and grandfather legend than any boxing legend. But I appreciate that. I appreciate your love, and I'm good. Well, listen, it's our first time that we're doing a Sunday. You wanted to change it to Sunday so we could get it up for the fans, for our audience, our beloved audience out there. At least some of them are beloved. We wanted to get it up a day earlier, so that's what we're doing. We're working Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday. We don't care. We care about you guys. And we will be up Monday. So let everybody know, let your friends know, spread the word that we're up not on Tuesdays, we're up on Mondays now. If somebody forgets they go on Tuesday, they're still going to see us. But we wanted to get up a day earlier. And it's Super Bowl Sunday. First thing I got to say is you're wearing green. Does that mean the Eagles are going to win? Is that your way of like subtly let me know that you're liking the birds?
That could be a sign. I didn't even think about it until you said that. But no, as I said on this podcast in August, when I was on before the start of the NFL season, I predicted the Chiefs to three-peat, and I'm not changing that now.
All right, even in green, baby. I as long as we're on the Super Bowl real quick before we open up here, give us a little bit of viewpoint from the guy who's been in the NFL 15 years, scout for all these years, director of scouting the Raiders. Give us your thought of how the game might play out. High, low scoring. You just said you like the Chiefs, but what are the key aspects of the game to look for?
Yeah, I think that Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, is going to look to take away Saquon Barkley in the run immediately. And if he's able to do that, it's going to force Jalen Hurts to make throws, through the air with his arm, obviously. And that could lead to maybe a higher scoring game. I look forward to seeing Andy Reid, the game plan, especially the first 10 plays or so scripted coming in. Obviously, we talked about he's 21-3 in the past off a bye. Essentially, this is a bye with the extra week to prepare. And then the in-game adjustments. But I think it's a hell of a matchup. I think a lot of people think the Eagles probably might have the better team on paper, but the Chiefs have the best player and the best coach. And I think Andy Reid and Mahomes found another way to pull it out and get another win.
Dramatic comeback, behind in the game, do it Tom Brady style?
Whatever it takes to win. I think I do not think this game is going to be a blowout. The last time they played, the Chiefs were playing a little bit from behind early on, some more back and forth. So I think it's going to be similar in those regards.
High score, low score, and the fans out there, they want to know under, over, or have an idea.
I think most people think it's going to be more of a high-scoring game. I was kind of leaning towards maybe that with the Eagles throwing the ball more, but in the end, I think the Chiefs are built differently. They're not as explosive as the past. They sustain possessions more and clock time of possession, which could slow the game down a little bit and lead to a lower scoring game.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that as part of it. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. All right, I also want to just make sure that we let the fans know, besides starting on Mondays from now on, that we're gonna be doing some live streaming, more live streaming, Q&A. We're doing a lot of different things we're gonna be doing. Let the fans know when they can expect to see some of the live streaming, what fights we're looking to do, and the Q&A when we're looking to get. We will promote it on our channel. We'll let you guys know, but touch on that a little bit. And before you do that, I'll just mention that if we are not in Saudi for the rematch of Bivol and Better BF, we will live stream that fight, which I think will be something that will be well attended by our audience to see that We got 700,000 when we did that event with Tyson and Paul. But I think if we do better BF and Bevo, we're gonna get good turnout. At least, yeah, if we wouldn't do it if we didn't think that you guys wanted it. So if you want it, let us know. Send out an email. Let us know. Send out a hit that thing, that thing, whatever that thing is.
Subscribe.
Hit that thing, do that thing. What's that thing? Be that thing. Subscribe and let us know, but let them know now. What are we looking to live stream in the next few weeks, and Q&A? Can they expect to engage with us with some Q&A?
Yeah, I think a successful live stream for the Benavidez fight, and the fans want to see more of your commentary. So making that a staple moving forward, as you're saying. Next Friday night, Keyshawn Davis fights on ESPN. He's fighting for the world title versus Dennis Berinchyk. So we will plan on being on. I believe it starts 11 Eastern time, about 10 o'clock for the card. We'll be on an hour before the main event. And then we might pop back on and double up on Saturday for the fans across the pond there in the UK for the Jack Catterall fight. So those would be the next two. And then, like you said, we'd make that a consistent staple moving forward in the show, potentially February 22nd for the big card, like you said, if we're not in Saudi Arabia. And then March 1st is Tank Davis. So a lot of fights coming up, a lot of live streams coming up. And I think the fans hopefully be looking forward to it.
All right, let's go. Take us live, living color, Super Bowl Sunday. You will be watching this on Monday. There will be a lot of happy and sad fans both ways. But hopefully it'll be a great game. Hopefully everybody will enjoy it. Hopefully all you people enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday, and all the eats that go with the tradition of Super Bowl Sunday, whether it's chicken wings, whether it's chili, whatever it happens to be. All right, let's go, bud.
All right, Saturday night, we'll start off with the UFC 312 main event. The main card, we had Zhang Weili defend her strawweight title versus Tatiana Suarez. Complete domination by Weili. Super impressive performance. Suarez was one-dimensional, looking to use her wrestling background and shoot for takedowns and get Weili to the ground, and just zero success. I think she failed 14 out of her 15 takedown attempts. Weili was just too fast, too strong, just better all around. So evident of how much better she was on her feet striking. She got the best on the ground. Impressive performance. She wins a unanimous decision. And at 35 years old, to me, she looked as good as ever. What'd you think of Weili's performance?
Yeah, she looked like one of the greats of all time, and definitely the best out there right now. No doubt about that. Weili. Suarez, great heart, showed great heart. She had a terrible gash on her knee. You don't see that. You see that in the face area. You don't see that around the legs. Terrible gash there. Listen, it's a lesson, not only that there's levels in this thing, but here's the crazy part. Now we look at it crazy. Nobody was saying it before, but Suarez was the favorite going in with this iconic fighter, this great fighter. Maybe the greatest of all time in her weight class when it's all said and done. How extraordinary was that? So, and I don't think that Weili didn't take notice of that. I'm not saying she needed any other incentive than the incentive to keep her title and be the greatest fighter out there. But we're human. We notice those things. It's extra material on the chalkboard, on a bulletin board, kind of like before football games a little bit. So Suarez, the favorite, going in, it's a lesson of that nothing is anointed. Nothing is anointed in this world. Nothing is anointed, in this game. Where, yeah, you're tremendous. You're 14-0. I think that's what her record was. You're undefeated. You've been dominant. You're big. You're strong. You can see that. You see the size and strength. You're younger. All of that. And even the bookmakers agree that you're going to be the next champ. No. You have to go out there and fight the fight. You got to go out there and beat the champ, you know? And the champ has something to say about that. With pride, with skill, with experience, with all of that. You know, never underestimate the champ and the desire to stay the champ. Yeah, I know it's a great desire to become champ, but there was almost an air that Suarez thought she was going to be anointed. Like it was just to get in there, this is it, even on corner. Just the feeling I got. That not that they weren't professional, not that they weren't ready, not that everyone didn't do their job. I'm not saying that. It's just like there was in the air, floating around, like, yeah, we just got to go in there, you know, it's all been sketched out. We just got to color it in. We got to color it in. Not what. It's not always that automatic. You got to come there ready to take a hill. It's a battle. It's a war. You got to be ready to take a hill. You can't think that, you know, that hill is just going to allow it to be taken, and that there's going to be, you know, a parade ready for you to come in, the new champ, the triumphant one. No, you got to take that hill. And that hill could be a hell of a difficult task to take that hill. And when you got somebody like Weili standing on that hill and says, this is my hill, you're not taking it, man, forget about what you thought was going to happen. Forget about well-laid plans. Forget about the atmosphere with you're the favorite and it's, you know, it's just going to happen. No, because Weili, the champ, has something to say. First round, I gave it to Suarez. I think that's fair. She got to her geography on the mat, got the takedown. She controlled most of the round. She didn't do a lot with it. She didn't dominate. She didn't do damage. She didn't ground and pound. But she held position until the end. And the end was kind of a foreshadowing of what was going to come because the champ woke up. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you woke up. Don't wake up that sleeping dog. The champ was reminded that, yeah, this young, undefeated, strong, big, great wrestler is trying to take my title. We can't have that. And then at the end of the first round, she switched it around a little bit, but I still thought that even though Weili flipped the tables a little bit, got better position, she didn't do a lot either. For the most part, Suarez took the round. But then, like you said, all Weili. Her striking was dominant. I mean, all it came down to is that for Suarez to win, she had to be in her straight hold, in a place that is her straight, on the floor. And she had to win there. And then try to negate the opportunities for Weili to be striking. Kind of like maybe if in the Super Bowl, in the game later today, kind of like where Philadelphia's got to keep Mahomes off the field. Is that fair? You got to you got to keep Brady, right? You got to keep Mahomes off the field. You ain't keeping him off the field. You ain't winning. Or a lot of people out there are going to be happy. It's going to be an over game. But as far as the scoring, and it's going to be interesting. But you're going to have a tough time to win if you don't keep him off the... Same thing. The plan for Suarez had to be keep Weili off the field. Keep her off her feet. Keep her from striking. And get it on the mat. Here's the problem. Here's where the real problem was. When she did get on the mat, Suarez did not dominate Weili the way it was supposed to be, where she's supposed to win on the floor, avoid Weili on her feet, because she's the dominant striker. She's the best. She's quicker. She's more explosive. She used the legs and her hands. She was striking quick with her hands, using the legs to get in and out. Explosive, quick, sudden, much different kind of pure talent, quick twitch, whatever way you want to describe it, than Suarez, who was more physical and strong But again, she needed her geography. She needed to get on the ground, keep Weili off her feet. She didn't do that. Weili dominated on her feet and striking. Landed the southpaw killer, very smart. Bang! Straight right hands against the southpaw Suarez. Hurt her, dropped her with that right hand. Several times hurt her with that. And then when they did go on the floor, as I said, Weili was the better. She was the better in both places, both geographies. So Suarez had really nowhere to go. She showed great heart. I would think this fight's it's gonna make her better. She showed the heart, the character of a future champion. At the end of the day, we watched a great champion, one of the greats.
Yeah, no question. I'm glad you said what you said about the odds of Weili being the underdog. It reminded me when we talked about Merab being the underdog when he was defending his belt in the last title fight. Just shocked me. It was completely, obviously wrong, but disrespectful to the champion. But yeah, 11-1 now for Tatiana Suarez, and Weili has won 6 championship fights now. Is ranked number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the UFC for the women rankings. And at 35 years old, looks like she's only getting better. So look forward to seeing what's next for her. Moving to the main event, we had the middleweight championship title fight, Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. Very, to me, similar to the first fight, except much wider this time. And I say similar to the first fight, Strickland fought the same exact fight, right? He kind of stayed behind the jab in the 1-2, and this time much wider because du Plessis, to me, showed more and did more damage with his just large toolbox and arsenal, kicks, elbows, punches. Very one-sided. I was a little disappointed by Sean Strickland, but credit to Dricus. What'd you think of the fight? What'd you think of his performance?
I think there's a reason why it was wider. I've said this. I think I was the first one who put it out there. Now everybody's jumping on it. Everybody's talking about it. But I wasn't the first one to come up with this idea. I was just the first one to put it out there in the modern era where people hadn't heard it. The old timers, Customato, they always told me that winning a title makes you 30% better. Because we always talk, 75% is this, the mind part. So it makes the mind stronger, makes it better, makes it more confident. It lets you know things you didn't know before you won the title, that you could depend on yourself in waters, in areas that you didn't know if you could. So I think that showed. The Plessis was better. Strickland, listen, Strickland, I love Strickland. I love what he's done for the sport. He's a great promoter, even though he says things some people don't like. I think he's matured. I think he's mellowed a little with some of that. He knows what he's doing. He's smart. He's cerebral. He's tough, like most of these guys. He's got a tremendous jab. He lives and dies by the sword. And sometimes you live and die by the sword, which in this case was the jab, and that sword is not there for you, you die, on that sword. And his strength, Strickland's strength, is his weakness. His strength is to be cold, calculating. He doesn't waste anything. He's definitive. He's a surgeon. He's conservative. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't get over anxious. He doesn't help you by getting over anxious, by doing something that gives you opportunities to capitalize on that over anxiousness, on those mistakes. That's what made him champion. That he's so buttoned up. He doesn't waste anything. That made him champ. That he's good with the jab, that he controls you. He stays in his neighborhood of what his neighborhood is, of what he's good at. That's also what hurt him in these last 2 fights, is that he is so conservative. He doesn't waste anything. He doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't take the chances to make those mistakes in those kind of ways. So you can out-hustle him sometimes. You can sometimes outwork him. He leaves an opportunity to be out-hustled, just outworked a little bit. I mean, for the most part, he's going to get the better of most guys because he is that accurate with his punches. He is that cerebral. He is that definitive. But then there are guys that are going to match that or come close to it and also do a little more of it, be a little busier, and go outside that realm and be more creative. That's the Plessis. He went outside that realm. He mixed in kicks. He mixed in takedowns. He mixed in switching from righty to lefty. He gave you more stuff. I'm being real simple here today. Real simple. He gave you more stuff. And it was good stuff. He is really the example of why you hear that saying, bud, you can't judge a book by its cover. Because you look at him, you say, well, what's he doing? What's he doing? He's big, he's strong. I get it. By the way, he looked like he was in great shape, his body. But he's big, he's strong. But what's he doing? I don't see it. I don't see it. Or the opponent sees it. The opponent feels it. He's better than he looks. Yeah, he's big and strong. Yeah, he's well-rounded. That's the thing. And yeah, he's smarter than you think he is. He is doing little subtle things in there to go and supplement his big and strong parts of what he is. So at the end of the day, you know, he mixed it up more. He was busier. He understood. The Plessis understood he couldn't get beat by the jab. That no matter how I lose, if I lose, he didn't think he was going to lose. He's the champ now. He's 30% better. But no matter what, he ain't beating me with the jab. So he made sure, lefty and righty, he threw enough jabs. He did not allow himself to be dominated by the jab. And Strickland, again, going back to him, I love him, but going back to him, he set the table with the jab, but he didn't eat enough with the right hand. And I got to give his corner credit late in the fight. They were great. They had two guys, but the first guy, he was
Eric
great.
Nissick. Yeah.
But he was great. He was honest. He was strong. He no BS. Trying to be friends and try not hurt his feelings. I don't want to get fired. I want to be nice. Yeah. And this ain't a nice game. This is fighting. You haven't noticed elbows, kicks, broken noses? No, I got to tell you, you ain't doing enough. And he did. But he not only got a fire under his freaking backside, not only did he tell him the truth, which I don't think Strickland loved it, but it's okay. The truth is important. At the end, you will love it because it will give you a better chance to win. He not only told him the truth, he gave him ideas of what to do. Not just, he told him what to do. He said, if I remember correctly, he said, you got to stop just picking stuff off and then coming back. That ain't working. You got to start to intercept some of his stuff. And now I'm going to translate that for the people that might not have understood what he meant by that. I understood exactly what he meant. You got to intercept that stuff and give something back in between. What he meant was you got to punch with him. That's what he meant. You got to intercept something. You can't just sit back and block and then come back because the Plessis ain't playing that game. You ain't gonna control him that way. It ain't working. He's better than that. That's what I mean. You can't judge a book by the guy. He's better than that. So what you got to do is when he's throwing, bop, 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 throw right with him. That's your only chance of catching him cold because you got to catch him cold now because you're behind. That was great. That was great. I love that. I love that. So at the end of the day, he fought with a broken nose. It looks like it was broken anyway from what it seemed to be. Give him a lot of credit. Give him a lot of credit for that. Showing a lot of heart. But again, what has made him great has now, at this time, has failed him a little bit because there wasn't another, I'd make it even simpler, there wasn't another gear to go to, because that's his gear, to be cerebral, to be real calm in an uncalm environment and do just what he has to do. But with this guy, you had to go beyond that. That's it. That's enough. That's it.
Yeah, it's a great breakdown in points. I want to ask you just the mental in regards to Sean Strickland. You see him in the lead up all week to the fight. He's doing backflips into the ocean in Australia. He's sparring with fans at the open workout. Is that just staying loose and each fighter treats that differently, or is that more to it? Am I overthinking it? Is there a built-in excuse when he does come up short, like in this instance?
He's not using it, so he's not talking about it. So I don't know if it's an excuse. It could be. That's you know, I appreciate you going and being a detective to kind of track this down. You saw it, we saw it, people saw it. Somebody should talk about it a little bit. At the end of the day, for me, it's the hardest part is the waiting. The waiting before fight. Your imagination can be like ninjas coming over a wall and attack you and take you apart before you ever get in the ring. Most people, they don't talk about, but you can't sleep before a fight. You might not be sleeping a week of a fight too well because it's on your mind. What's coming? And it ain't fun. You know what I mean? It ain't the holidays with your family with the big turkey. You know, it ain't that. You know, it's what it is, and it's scary. So you wanna, before the big fights, I would take my fighter out to a movie. I would because I don't want him thinking about those things where the ninjas could come, where his imagination could be lit up. So that could be just his way of getting away from it all, from escaping those ninjas, from getting himself, you know, to a place that avoids that kind of pressure, that kind of thinking that can deteriorate you, that can get to you. I would say that maybe, but it is crazy. It is crazy. He's fist fight. I mean, he's fighting. He could get hurt. I'm sure Dana White don't love to see those things. I mean, come on. I mean, you could get clipped. You could get cut. You know, he's jumping in the water. There could be something floating in the water. You know, they were in Australia. Great White could have came out. You know, that would have been a hell of a video. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, but anyway, I guess maybe someone was looking out for great whites, so they couldn't get that. That wouldn't happen. But to your point, it is crazy. It is unorthodox. But there may be a method to his madness in the way that I just said it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great display of heart by Strickland, like you said, persevering through the broken nose and the damage he suffered, and 9 wins in a row now for du Plessis. So we will see what is next. Will it be Khamzat Chimaev for the middleweight title? Or does he try to...
I don't have a cough, by the way. It's not a cough.
Or does he move up in weight and go for his second belt against Alex Pereira? So we'll find out soon. But that was a good breakdown for the UFC. Moving on from the boxing fights this week, we had the main event across the pond, UK, Derek Chisora versus Otto Wallin. Chisora, 41 years old, did what he does, right? He made it ugly, gritted it out, showed his aggression, showed his heart and his resilience, and he wins a unanimous decision against Otto Wallin. I was more so disappointed of what Wallin didn't do than what Chisora was doing. He didn't fight on the outside, controlling range. He wasn't snapping his punches. He was pawing. Seemed like he was trying to survive instead of trying to win. But credit to Chisora. This was a IBF eliminator. He's now the #1 ranked fighter for Dubois' belt, which will be on the line February 22nd against Parker. What'd you make of the fight? What'd you think of the 41-year-old warhorse, Derek Chisora?
Listen, I love the guy. He's matured. He's 41. You just said it. You know, He's matured. He's changed. Look, I know there's, I'm going to cover everything real quick. I know there's people out there that say, how do you love a guy who's spit in Klitschko's face in the ring, nasty stuff, not professional, not sportsmanlike, not classy? That was years ago. I believe that some people can change. I believe that, hey, I don't think it was nice, those things. I understand he flipped tables at press conferences, different. Listen, I'm not apologizing, but I'm being what I try to be, transparent about where people won't say, well, what about that? No, I understand that. I'm putting it out there, all of that. But I really like the guy because I've seen a metamorphosis. I've seen a transition. I've seen a maturity, an aging, where he ain't that guy no more. Look, I'm not going to compare the two, but Muhammad Ali, early in his career, he, when he changed his name to Ali and stuff, he wasn't too friendly to people. He was in a place with his religion, his beliefs, everything else, where he wasn't that available to people or that sensitive to taking time from people. Obviously, he was a great promoter, but some of the things he said about Joe Frazier and that were really deep and hurting. Some people would say it went beyond just being a great promoter. It went a little further to some places that affect human beings in a more permanent way than just it should be when you're just promoting a fight. But he was great. He believed in what he believed in. He made a stand. He came back. He had a second career. He showed his greatness outside the ring, inside the ring. He was a pioneer. He was all those things. But he was also what I just touched on, too. And then as he got older, you could have a line of people, Bud, waiting. And of course, he was getting sick. But as he was older from the Parkinson's, I was there with him. So I'm speaking firsthand. You could have a line of people there, and he was tired. And people were saying, let's go, champ. And he saw a line of people. He ain't going. He stayed there till 2 a.m. if he had to sign that last autograph to make sure that everybody got what they came there to get, and that everybody got a piece of him, and that everybody felt better that they did. He made himself available. He was different. I'm just saying that for the people out there that will still hate and remember about these parts of Chisora, which is your prerogative, obviously, I'm just saying people do mature. People do go through a transition. It's called life. It's called life. It's called getting older. And you think of things in a different way. And I'm saying I think Chisora is at that place. Look, one thing that he's been a war horse. He's been a war horse. Yeah, he's got a bunch of losses, he's got a bunch of wins, he's got a bunch of losses. Yeah, he fought for the world title, lost both times, but what he's been for me, he's not the greatest fighter. This night was about him. It was about celebrating his career. And the great, 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 great fans, you can't argue that. The great English fans coming out and showing their love and celebrating what he gave to them for all these years. He gave them what his nickname is, War. Nobody got a more fitting nickname, War, because that's what he did. Sometimes I think he cared more about living up to that nickname than winning a fight. How's that? Put that in your pipe and smoke, and some of you guys out there. Think about that a little bit. But I do. I think that he wanted to satisfy that name. He wanted to satisfy the people. He wanted to show that he was worthy of their love, of their being there and their devotion by going to war that you could count on. What am I counting on tonight? I just paid 60 pounds, 200 pounds, and I got a couple, I just had a couple pints all across the street, and I'm going over to the arena to see our man, Chisora, tonight. What do you expect? You expect he's going to win? I expect it's going to be a war. I expect we're going to get our money's worth. I think that it became that for him. And nobody else is going to go down this road with this. But it's my road. It's the road I believe. Don't mean I'm right. But I think I have enough proof to be pretty damn sure I got a good shot to be right. From the way he's lived his life, the way his career went. So this night was about celebrating all of that. And he didn't disappoint. He went to war. That's all he knows. But he's 41. He almost fell going up the steps. Anybody notice that? Getting in the ring, he almost fell.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he almost fell. And it wasn't Joe Biden. Okay? He almost fell getting in the ring. And I dare some idiot out there making political because I said that. I dare you. Get ahead. If you want to get, we're going to start, by the way, we're doing a lot of new things. We're going to start giving the dumpsy. We're going to call it the dumpsy, like the dummy award. Whoever's the biggest award, dummy of the month. We're going to start handing that out. How's that? We're going to start a little thing. The dummy award. How you like that, Richie? The dunce hat. Remember in the old days, they made you wear a dunce hat? Well, we're going to, like that. Richie goes like this. Yeah, like that. We're going to come up with we're going to bring back the dunce hat for some dunces out there. Look, the atmosphere was set. Hollywood couldn't have scripted it better. Where it was about this night for his send-off, possibly his last fight. He's 49 fights. He wants to 50. We get it. But his last fight possibly in England, in the UK. So everyone came out. Here's the problem. It was great. It went like a Hollywood script. It was unbelievable. He gets 2 knockdowns. He comes in, goes to war. The other guy, Wallin, looked like he was part of the script. I'm not accusing him of just taking the money. I'm not doing that. I'm not going there. But I'm just saying, he didn't throw one punch with bad intentions. He didn't throw one punch, to your point, pity patter, like to survive, like keep them off me punches. Don't hit me punches. I won't hit you, you don't hit me. That kind of stuff. But not one punch thrown in anger with bad intentions. This is boxing. You're supposed to throw with bad intentions, by the way. And it was always, if I didn't know better, it was almost like he went along with the atmosphere. Like he somehow subliminally through osmosis, he felt like, oh yeah, I am just here for his night. I am here as the supporting actor. He's the star, and I'm here as the supporting actor for this skit tonight that's gonna move him off into the sunset, at least the UK sunset. But I'm gonna do my role. My role is just to be that guy, that makes it a great night for him, that does not, give any ripples in a pond, that does not upset the apple cart. No, my role is to be a supporting actor to the star tonight. And he was. He never stepped out of line. He never said a line that was louder than the star. He knew his role. It was unbelievable. I'm watching the fight and I'm saying, oh my God, when is this guy gonna realize that it's a fight? It's actually not a documentary to send off Mr. to send Chisora off into the sunset, that it's actually a fight, and that you have an opportunity with a 41-year-old to revigorate your career, to score a knockout. Because it's not like the guy wasn't vulnerable. He was still slow, even slower. He was still wide, even wider. Yeah, he was still available, even more available to hit, to catch coming in. All of that. He still has the great heart. The heart is big as the UK, yes. But all the other things, he was vulnerable. He was so susceptible. If you did not read the script that said, oh, tonight is all about Chisora, and I will be a patsy. I will do what I need to do to make sure this night for Chisora is not ruined. Yes, I got it. Okay. That's what it looked like. I didn't come here to tear apart Wallin. He tore himself apart. He did a job of that. I didn't do it. I'm here to tell what I believe and what I think maybe the fans out there, our great audience out there that give us a reason to do this, that maybe they would like to hear. And maybe they're thinking, but they got nobody to put it out there for them. So I'm that guy. So at the end of the day, amazing. Chisora, I love you. I love where you've come from, where you got. And no, I'll finish with this, but no, he's not the greatest heavyweight from London. No, he's not the greatest gentleman from London. Frank Bruno was a pretty good gentleman. Let's not forget about him. He was gone. But Chisora is a testament. He is a great relic for, and I'm not saying it in any kind of derogatory way. I got love for him. But he's a relic. He goes all the way back. He's like when they were in World War II, when they were getting blitzed and by the Germans and the city was being torn apart. What did Churchill? What did all those great English citizens and warriors and fighters, like our great fighters in World War II and World War I, from America? But what was the one thing that they would not do? They would not quit. They would not give in. They would not say, that's enough. They never would do that. They would never. And that's why they and we won that war, because of that. And I think that at the end of the day, that's what he leaves, Chisora. That is what he leaves us. No matter what happens in his 50, and I'll tell you, this would have been a perfect way to walk off to the sunset. It ain't going to get more perfect, because if he goes to that 50th and fights one of those street guys he's talking about, that might not be too pretty. That might not be, but I'm not going to go there right now, because he deserves his day, and he's getting his day from me.
Yeah, Dubois, Joshua, or Usyk.
Yeah, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not, but it ain't going to end this way. I wish it would, because it's beautiful. But what he does get remembered for, what he does illustrate, what he's always been. Again, not the greatest English fighter, not the guy, but a guy who reminds us that you can go to places that people never thought that you didn't even think you could go to. That maybe you weren't genetically born with the quick, swift stuff and the real slick stuff and those kind of talents, but you can go to great places if you are willing to go further than you ever thought you could go. If you're willing to take that risk, if you're willing to go to a place that you have never been before, you just never been there. I don't know. Can I do this? Can I go there? I think I went pretty far. Can I go there? If you're willing, if you have that one attribute, you're willing to go somewhere that there is no guarantee that you can get there. There is no guarantee you'll come back from there. There is no roadmap that even tells you what's there or how to go. except your desire to find out. That's what Derek Chisora means to me. And I think to all the great English fans out there, if you're willing to find out how far you can go, Derek Chisora teaches us that and reminds us of that. That's his greatness. That's his greatness.
Perfectly said. It reminds me of Arturo Gatti in those ways. You always knew what you're going to get. You might not win them all, but like watching a homecoming fight for Gatti in Atlantic City is what I felt like watching that fight across the pond in the UK. So 3 wins in a row now for Chisora. He is the #1 ranked for the IBF belt, like we said, for Dubois. We will see what's next. And 3 shots under the light now for Otto Wallin and falls short all 3 times. So
whatever happened to the Wallin that fought Fury? Seriously, that was his coming out. That was the first time we saw the guy from Sweden, right? Sweden, I believe, right? Isn't he from Sweden?
Exactly.
That was the first time we saw him, really, for the most part. And we were like, wow, we're impressed. Not a big puncher, not the greatest, skill levels in one area, but fundamentally sound, tough mentally, and determined. And, where'd that guy go?
I think the layoff definitely didn't help. He didn't have momentum and get back in there for quite some time. So the inactivity. But I think Joey Gamache is thinking the same thing. The guy has the physical traits, and you don't get to see it come to light when he's there under the bright lights in the ring. So with that being said, we'll move on from that fight Saturday. Before we do, I just want to take a quick pause, give a thank you to today's sponsor, Athletic Greens, the all-in-one daily drink to support better health and peak performance. These guys spent 10 years with top nutritionists and other doctors to create this formula. It's made from 75 whole food sourced ingredients, has vitamins, minerals, prebiotics, probiotics, and antioxidants. This is like an insurance policy for your body's health and immunity. So simply visit athleticgreens.com/atlas to claim the special offer of 10 free travel packs with your first purchase.
Hey, you want to reminisce about a Rocky moment? Remember that great first Rocky movie? Wow, that was great. He put historic. He put the raw eggs in a glass. Drank it down, right? Right? Okay. My version this morning. 2 hard-boiled eggs, a little salt. I'm not an animal. A little salt too. All right? 2 hard-boiled eggs, protein, right? I'm trying to get my weight down a little bit, but at the same time, give some nutriment, keep me going. And a glass of Athletic Greens, baby. No eggs. No raw eggs. Hard-boiled eggs. Yeah, I know Rocky went the extra thing, and he did the raw stuff. But hard-boiled eggs, Athletic Greens. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, so let's talk about the wild news, the back and forth. We talked about Canelo Crawford. Then it turned into seem like it would be Canelo versus Jake Paul instead. And then Turki Al-Sheikh comes in and announces it is a signed deal. Canelo Alvarez 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season. First fight will be in Saudi Arabia versus William Skull. And then it looks like we will get, if victorious, the next fight after that versus Terrence Crawford. Now that you had a little bit of time to digest the craziness, what do you make of all this news?
Couple things. Boxing does have CEO. It never did. It was, 5 different power brokers, all over the place. But basically, they do have a kind of a leader, a CEO, an influencer, if you will. A guy that has influence that can come in and change things. And he could do it at the 12th hour. He could do it at the 11th hour. He could do it anytime. And that guy is Turki Al-Sheikh. I think that I will go places I'm not sure of. We were sure that we thought, I'm kind of going back against what I'm saying. We're sure, and then I was about to say of what we think we knew. So, but I just say it straight, the only way I know how. We believe we had the Crawford. It looked like we had the Crawford. We were talking about that. Can a really great small guy beat a really good big guy? We were getting into that mind frame again. Some people were saying, Canelo's too big. Forget it. But we were getting into the right mind frame, the right with this great, sweet science, with this sport that goes back longer than any other sport in the world, where catch weights used to be in the 20s to 30. Little guys beat big guys, and it wasn't that unusual. So we were starting to get into that frame of thinking. Okay, can this great guy Crawford, can he, instead of looking at it as a disadvantage that Canelo is so big, can we look at it that maybe he'll be too smart, too slick, too quick, you know what I mean? Too special in those areas, not to allow Canelo to use his size and his counterpunching and everything else. And that's what the sweet science is about. You know, it's not supposed to be just about, letting a bull run out into the bull ring and then wait until the matador puts a spear in. It's supposed to be about the bull actually having a chance to outslick the matador, which don't happen too often. So now we were starting to get into interesting grounds. Okay, people were buying into it. Yeah, this is okay. This is gonna be interesting. I'm ready. And then all of a sudden, bang. And then unfortunately, because boxing always shoots itself in the foot, and like the late great friend of mine, Bert Sugar, used to say, boxing can't give itself any more black eyes. It's the Cyclops. There's no more eyes to blacken because boxing always does that to itself. So it looked like it did that to itself because fans were saying to me, I knew that fight wasn't going to happen. No, it was not. I tell you, everything's never gonna happen. Everyone lies, everyone. Yeah, and that's terrible. That makes you feel bad because that means the sport doesn't have credibility. People don't trust it. So that's terrible. And then all of a sudden, you hear Jake Paul. Like him, hate him. Listen, the guy's been a genius. The guy has paid his dues. I don't care if you hate him. You like. Listen, I didn't like the last fight with him and Tyson. It looked like it was scripted. I didn't like it. Let's put that right out there. Right out there. I know I've given flowers to Paul in the past because at least he worked at this. He got a trainer. He busted his backside trying to be. He's a work in progress, trying to become a better fighter. I know he's picked his spots. I get it. Everyone, if you're in that entitled position where you bring the money in, guess what? You pick spots too. Because you earned that right by becoming the guy that brings in the money. So you take advantage. You pick spots. So yeah, he picked spot. He fought one guy who was a fighter, not a great fight, but a fury who was at least dedicated to boxing. He had an amateur fight, and he lost a competitive fight, but he lost a fight. So I understand all of that. But that fight suddenly looked like that was going to replace Crawford. And everybody was saying, me, yours truly. Yeah, I don't hide. Even me, I was saying, wait a minute. Now, if Canelo is now going to fight him instead of Crawford, then I have respect for Canelo, but I tell the truth. Canelo does pick his spots. Yeah, he's fought a lot of good fighters. Yeah, he's a champion. Yeah, he's tremendous, okay? He is. But he has picked spots. Maybe he has avoided Benavidez, whatever. But he has picked spots when he has gone up. And you're right, it's on his resume, guys, that he has fought really good fighters. He's lost to them. And then some of them, Triple G got a gift decision the first time. Then it was a draw. Then the second time they gave it to him. I didn't think he won. But look, he fought them. And then, of course, he lost to Bivol. He lost to Mayweather early in his career, right? There was a close fight with Lara. All of that. All the greats have those on their resume for the most part. But he has also fought guys smaller, guys older. He's picked spots and still got paid enormously because he's Canelo, because he can do it. I'm just pointing it out. That's all I'm saying. But he has done that. So now I came out too. And I said, now, if this is true, I didn't know if it was, but I said, if this is true, he's going to fight Jake Paul. Now you can understand why people attack him in these ways or why they say ducking. And I don't ever say he ducks. I don't say that. I just say he picks spots. But if somebody's going to go after him and say, you know what? they got the right to do it now. That's all I was saying. I was saying if this is true and he's now going to, instead of Crawford, for whatever reason, that fight all of a sudden ain't happening, and now he's going to fight Jake Paul. I'm just saying, you know what? He can't complain about the incoming attacks he's going to get on him, on his reputation now for being a guy that avoids certain guys. Now he can't complain about it. That's all I was saying, if that was true. But before the ink could dry, and see, here's the thing. Jake Paul has since, you guys should go Google it. Jake Paul has since shown a document that shows Canelo's signature and his. Now, look, I'm not a signature expert, bud. I'm not. But I would think that I would kind of doubt that Jake Paul forged his signature. That if he's putting a document up that they had a signed agreement, a signed contract. I know some people are going to say, well, then, Teddy, why is he not suing? I don't know. I can't answer that for you. Or why is he not contesting it in legal way? I can't answer that for you, guys. I'm honest right now. All I can say is that Paul has shown a document that he says is Canelo's signature next to his signature for a fight. And then I think we know the rest. That you don't need Sherlock Holmes. You don't need Teddy Atlas. You don't need any kind of investigator or sleuth to figure that out. The man who has more influence than anyone else now, who has really helped the sport give us fights for the last year, a little over a year, that we couldn't have gotten otherwise, that has brought back some of the relevance, if you will, making the sport more relevant again, where we're starting to go into a niche place a little bit because we were not making the fights that people wanted. There were too many one-sided fights. We were not giving the audience. Really, they're the boss. You know, they're the stockholders of this great sport. Without them, what do you have? You have nobody watching. And then there's no reason to have it. So they were not getting the fights that they thirsted for, that they wanted. They weren't getting. They were watching these different power brokers build their guys up with their partners wherever their network was, with their partners, with their sugar daddies. Yeah, I say I say some people like it. Teddy, thank you for giving us Teddy, love you. Other people, not so good. Not so good. All right, I get it. But they were satisfying their sugar daddies. They were building up their fighters to a big fight, and they were putting it on at the expense of the audience, at the expense of the public, at the expense of the fans. The most important part of this whole thing besides the fighters. So Turkey Al-Sheikh comes along in the last year and a little more than a year now, and he starts giving us the fights that we didn't think we could have, that we wanted but we couldn't have, that were kept from us. And now he has a passion for the sport, a passion for the fighters, from everything we can see. And knock them, hate them, love them, applaud him, whatever. A lot of people are applauding him. Same reason I'm saying along those lines of what he's given us fights that we needed, that the sport needed, the fans wanted, sport needed, really. And now he comes along and he says, no, not on my watch. Yeah, it's his watch now. Okay, in his mind, yeah, I mean, how can you argue with him thinking this way? Not on my watch. I'm giving fights that I believe are the right fights in the audience. I'm committed to this. We're not doing this fight. I'm gonna come in here and let's talk turkey, right? I don't mean Turkey Al-Sheikh. I really don't. I didn't mean a pun here. But let's talk turkey. Let's talk straight. We like to talk turkey. Canelo was bought out. I'm not knocking him for it. Make as much money as you can. You're the one who takes all the risk. You're taking great risk. Really. I'm the one who's been saying for years, bud, the fighters can't make enough money as far as I'm concerned, because every time they leave the ring, there's a chance they leave with less of themselves. Or they don't even leave. 28-year-old kid just died last week. I don't even want to get, but he just died from a brain injury. He went in the ring, 28 years old. He didn't come out. So I'm just over in, I think it was an island, but it was abroad. What I'm saying is, let him make his money. He's got the right. He's taking a risk to make as much. But that's not hide from the fact that, yeah, he got bought out of this fight. That's all I'm saying. He got bought out of this fight. So the deal now to walk away from the Jake Paul fight that it seems like he signed to, he got a 4-fight, Turkey Al-Sheikh gave him a 4-fight deal, starts in May with the fighter you just mentioned, William Skull, the number one, he's a, whatever, it's going to be for, he's a champion, he's got one of the belts, so it's going to be for an undisputed 168-pound title, I guess, right?
Yeah, he has the IBF belt he won against Vladimir Shishkin, which was vacant after Canelo was stripped of that belt.
He's 23-0, he's 32 years old, he's got 9 knockouts. Look, before I'll finish by touching on that. 4-fight deal, we don't know the exact monies, but I put out there that I've heard, and again, I'm saying I just heard, neighborhood. It could be anywhere from 100 to 150 million a fight. That's a lot of De Niro. It's a lot of De Niro. It's a lot of any way that you want to pronounce and identify the name for money. So we don't know for sure what the fights are. There's a mention. We know the Skull fight first, then supposed to be Crawford, I think, second, right, bud? And then we're hoping for Benavidez. We're hoping maybe for well, obviously, I don't have to tell you, you would hope for the winner of Bivol and Benavidez. You would hope that it would kind of be in that kind of mix. We don't know. But here's the thing. I'll finish with this. We don't know. At the end of the day, we don't know if he's going to win them all, if he's going to get to the whole 4-fight deal. We don't know. We don't know if he won't pull out on one of them. We don't know. We don't know if we know it sounds good, but we don't know if it actually transpired. We don't know that if it actually happened. But what I do know, and I'll leave it this, bud, he's getting awfully overpaid for the Skull fight. That's what I do know. And again, I'm not trying to rain on any parade. I love what Turkey Al-Sheikh's doing for the sport. I've said that. I'm not going to say it no more. I'm just saying that Canelo's pretty smart. He's pretty good in the ring, and he's pretty good businessman. I don't think he gets enough credit for being the businessman he is, because he knows how to make money. Cinnamon knows how to make money, besides counterpunching and everything else. And at the end of the day, I saw William Skull. I'm not gonna go into it heavy. He is tremendously overpaid. Tremendously being overpaid for that fight. Maybe I turn out to be wrong. Eat my words, and I eat them right here. But that's it. What else can I say? Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see where, if we get to the Crawford fight, what those other 2 fights will be on the 4-fight deal.
That's the key word. If that's what you guys gotta get your head around in this sport. If, yeah, it sounds good. 4 fights took over. The main thing is, I think, what people were celebrating for the most part, and I think some of it's unfair, but again, I'm not here to protect anyone I'm here to say what I think and what's out there for me to say, or for what I've seen. That's all. In an honest way, not in a way where I'm controlled by anyone, not in a way where I'm I'm slanting one way or the other to be this or to be that. Just in a way that, from my 50 years in the business, how I see it, But at the end of the day, say whatever you want about Jake Paul. What was he doing that's any different for all the years? I know everyone was celebrating that we got like it's almost like a little bit of, it could be Not what you think it is. I'm not going to say smoke and mirrors, but not what you think. Because Turkey Al-Sheikh is sincere. He loves the sport. He's passionate. He wants the best fights. He from his point, 100%, I'm in, that he believes he's going to get Canelo to fight real fights once we get past. And maybe he thinks Skull is real. Maybe it will be. I don't think it's as tough as we would hope it would be. But we'll see. But that he believes we're going to get the best fights. We're going to get maybe historic fights. But at the end of the day, the only thing that the fans really reacted to the first, before they even got their head around anything else, was, glad we got rid of that Paul fight. Glad we did that. Oh, boy. Oh, thank God we got rid. That's all they were thinking. All right, go ahead. But Jake Paul, you hate on him for what? Being a businessman? The same way as Canelo's being a businessman? I know you're going to come back at me and say, whoa, Canelo's fighting. I know. But Canelo he stepped out. He made a deal. If that's true, if that signature is real, he did agree to that deal with Jake Paul. He did get bought out. He did let business come before anything else. It's okay, just saying. So Jake Paul should be attacked for that same sort of approach of doing things in a business way and thinking in a business. He should be attacked. He should be, killed for that. It's the same. And at the end of the day, I don't know if the Skull fight will be any more dangerous. Oh, do I dare say this, but do I dare finish with this? Where I get people to just, really come after me? But some won't, because they know where it's coming from. They understand. But do we know that the Williams-Skull fight will really be more entertaining? I'll say it that way. Than a Paul fight would have been? Do we know that? We just think that, the guy's a legitimate fighter. Okay, he's got a belt. We know you could get belts in this business a lot of ways. There's a lot of belts out there. You need a belt? I'll get you a red one for today because you like the Kansas City Chiefs. That's it. Like you youngins would say, that's it for me. I'm out.
Yeah, that was a lot of great points, and thorough conversation breakdown for all the fights this week, upcoming news. So before we sign off, we did talk about that on Friday night we'll do a live stream for the Keyshawn Davis versus Berinchyk title fight, and on Saturday across the pond for the Catterall versus Arnold Barboza fight. So with that being said, I just want to get a quick few words and a preview for those upcoming fights. We'll start with Keyshawn Davis and Berinchyk for Friday night first.
All right. Berinchyk the champion. I think Keyshawn, I'm taking nothing away from Berinchyk. I think he pulled off an upset to get the title. I think Keyshawn wins his first title. He's young. He could move up. He's got the body to move up. I think this will be his first of more than one world title. I think he's matured, seasoned. He's improved over the last year. He sits down more before he moved too much. He always had talent. He was a silver medalist from the Olympics. But now he's becoming a pro. Now, the last year, he sits down more, he places punches, he controls, he knows his identity, he controls range. I think that he will use his jab. Berinchyk is very unorthodox, very awkward. He's solid technically. He's not a puncher, but he's solid where, he'll use his legs, he'll get off quick, he'll move in and out, try to keep you off balance, look to counter, look to beat you to the punch, mix it up a little bit, but it ain't going to be that easy against Keyshawn. I think at this point, Keyshawn's ready to win the title. He's going to stabilize him with his jab on the outside, go to the body, take away some of that in and out by taking air out of the tires. I think Keyshawn wins the title. How's that? That quick enough for your butt?
That was perfect. And then for Saturday in the UK, Catterall and Barboza. What do you think?
All right. Very interesting because Barboza used to be more of a go-get-you kind of guy. I saw him, go. And all of a sudden now he's become a counterpuncher, a boxer. In his last fight, in his last win, he boxed. And he did a good job. He used his legs. He boxed with the former champion. He stayed on the outside. He jabbed. He didn't come in attack. And the funny thing about that, if that's going to stay his approach, if that's his new identity, if that's his identity, if he's going to be consistent with that going into this fight, well, Catterall makes his living counterpunching. That's what he does. I mean, he's always done that. He doesn't rent space out in that area. He owns that area. He's a counterpuncher, pure and simple. And so it'll be a battle of two counterpunches if that happens. And where is the fight?
Across the pond.
Oh, that could come into be a factor a little bit, a little tiny bit. At the end of the day, I go with the guy who knows what he is. Catterall knows he's a counterpuncher. He's going to stay. He's going to live or die with that. Barboza, he's a guy who 1 minute, I'm not saying 1 minute, but, just for the sake of putting it across and explaining it this way quick. 1 minute he's aggressive, then now he's a counterpuncher. I'm going to go with the guy who knows what he is and always has been that, the counterpuncher, to win a counterpunching fight. At the end of the day, if Barboza decides to have to come in, he'll counterpunch. If Barboza decides to move, Catterall will win the battle of counterpunches because you've been a counterpuncher longer. And he's home. And they got crumpets over there. And, that stuff. And the greatest fans. Bang, boom, boom, bing, bang. That's it.
That's it. Well, that ends a great show. A lot of analysis, thorough breakdown, and some great previews. Any final words before signing off?
Yes. I just want everyone to enjoy this Super Bowl Sunday. Have a great time. Have a safe time. Enjoy your favorite foods, because that's part of Super Bowl Sunday is more than just a game. It's about the commercials. Enjoy the commercials. Enjoy the new commercials. Everyone's looking for those new crazy commercials, whatever. And it's about the food. It's about, having do you like those little pigs in a blanket? What do they call those things? Pigs in a blanket? Those little hot dogs I like those. I like them. Enjoy whatever it is that you enjoy it, and enjoy it with someone. Be happy. Don't be a hater. Be a lover. And try to have a smile like that young man right there, and the world will be better for all of us. And we will see you Mondays. See, that's the new thing now. Mondays. No more Tuesdays.
See you Monday. And don't forget, live stream Friday night and on Saturday as well. Podcast on Mondays. Everybody enjoy the game. We'll see you next week.